Very good evening, everyone. Very good evening. Here we have the unbelievably best panel out there. Shane O'Mile, mate, how you doing?
All good, mate. All good. Glad to be here. Big up to Maddie and Kenny Kane, of course, and yourself, and a wonderful chat. And looking forward to getting into it, man. Looking forward to getting into it.
Yeah, we've got some stuff to talk about tonight. Big up, Jack, mate. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Gavin, I haven't seen you for a while, mate. Craig Jez on the panel. Big up to you, my friend. Good to see you. And, of course, we have tonight, been a while, Matty. How are you doing, my friend?
Jez, always good to be here, my friend. Always be good to be in a place with Brother Kenny. And glad to be back on a panel with Brother Shane. It's been a long time, brother.
Yeah. And Kenny Ken, how we doing, my mate? We got stuff to talk about, buddy. And I've got to come to you first when we get into this. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good. Like I said, it's been like not so much busy work today, but yeah, at least my hair's looking not too good. But yeah, I'm still having arguments with people over the boxing. They didn't really like my take on events of the boxing, so I'm just answering every comment. I mean, there's one guy who called me who wasn't happy with me, and I just called him Mr. Stuffed Crust because his internet title is mozzarella pizza. So I just said, "I'm Mr. Stuffed Crust." So yeah, I had a bit of words with him, and then other people were. One guy said that he thought when he looked at me, and he thought, "Oh yeah," he didn't realise that Desmond's was back on TV. So I said, "How dare you?" So I look like Matthew, the student at Desmond's.
Oh, God Almighty, Jesus! Right, Kenny, I'm going to come to you first. Okay. You called it on Lee's. You had inside knowledge, medical advice.
That's right. Yeah.
Been proven right. Looks like we've lost Gabriel for a month to 2 months. Your friends you were talking to, student doctors, I believe.
Yeah, student doctors. Yeah, they're both student doctors. One's studying pharmacy, but he's going to go in dentistry. He studies at the Montfort University in Leicester, and my other good mate, he studies at Queen Mary in Westfield in London, and we're out in London. And the first one I did, I thought, right, I've got two doctors in front of me, and I just started talking footballing injuries. You know, we talked about Odegaard's injury, medial. He gave me the lowdown on the medial ligament and cruciate, the difference. And and then we started talking about the abductor. And the first thing they said to me is, "Don't take our word for it, because you need to get something official from the football club. But if it's not so serious, it's 2 weeks." So there was no chance of him being fit for the Spurs or the Bayern Munich games, and obviously Chelsea would be a push as well. So Brentford, but what they told me is that if it's really a serious injury, they said 6 to 8 weeks, because of the nature of the groin, and that then you don't have to operate, but it's all about pain management. Obviously, giving them legalised drugs, away paracetamols, Panadol, and all those kind of drugs. But it's all about getting the pain out, and then once the pain's gone, it's about building up the muscle, making it stronger. But one thing they did tell me is that they confirmed about repetitive injuries. Repetitive injuries like which a lot of our players will be getting. So secondary injuries. So basically, they said that if you do get a cruciate ligament in your knee will never be the same again. It won't be as strong as it was before, and that the reason why you get secondary injuries is because you're compensating for the area you've injured. So in that respect, you're putting too much pressure on another part of your body, or even on the same leg but different part, because you don't want to injure it. They said it's all psychological, but yeah, they were very, very specific when they talked about Gabriel Magalhaes' injury. So it looks like their diagnosis, even though I haven't seen his leg, was just spot on.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, you called it, Matty. I mean, you've had experience as a coach of these type of problems, injuries, however you want to put it. I mean, Matty, we called it last season. We both called it that we were probably 2 injuries away from capitulation. Right now, we've lost Gabriel. People are having a meltdown now. Matty, we've got the best bench in Europe, apparently. So, why isn't the manager using it? What we got, Hincapi, we got White, we got these players that can come in, but we're now in. It's all gone tits up apparently, but we've got cover there, mate, haven't we?
Yep, I'll use an old reference, wrestling reference, since I got Shane on the panel. He'll know what this is. Steve Austin used to say DTA, don't trust anybody. This manager doesn't trust anybody. He buys the players. Have you ever seen anybody that goes to the grocery store, buys the groceries, and still don't want to eat the food they bought? He bought the food. He's bought the groceries. These players were there to be used early in the season. We could have made wholesale changes, gentlemen, against Port Vale. We had Sparta Prague. These are games that you could rest these players, these starters in. I was talking to Brother Normski earlier here before I got into the house, and I was telling him, we were discussing about how, players like Hincapi and these fellas got to come in. Now they're not in sync with the other players because they hadn't played together. And so you got to start establishing new synergies. The meat and crust for this right here for me, I don't want to hear any excuses about injuries, about anything, because we were all told that the bench was set, everything was locked and loaded. We're winning the treble, the quadruple, we're winning everything that was placed in front of us. Support the manager. I'm supporting the manager. Hey, he's got the tools. Get the job done. There's no more excuses, gentlemen. Long as I've known you and Kenny, we have sat here every year and talked about injuries. You can go through the lexicon of this channel. You can go through Lee's channel. You can go through my channel. You can go through Shane every morning. He's talking about it. We have told everybody about injuries. So this should be of no surprise. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? There's more to come. There's going to be more. This is what you get paid $15.6 million for, to solve these problems. As Kenny says, he's the alpha and the omega. It starts with him and it ends with him. So there's no excuses for me. There's absolutely no excuses for me. I could care it. Magalites went down. All right, well, who next man up? Next man up. I don't care who he picks. I don't care who starts. Next man up. Because last season, these people sat around and they said it was injuries, unluck, everything. This year, now it's Ancelotti. No, I'll tell you who it is. It's Ancelotti. That's who it is. It's Ancelotti. That's who is at fault for all of this. Because this manager has had time to rest players. He ran them like a government mule during the preseason. They came straight into the season. They were playing at 100 miles per hour. And now the wheels are starting to come off the bus. Okay, well, Berta has brought the players here that he requested. They're here. Hincapi's here. Mascara's here. Matt Wakey is supposed to be coming back. Now everybody wants to go from that, gentlemen. They're going to our attacking options. No. We've got attacking options. He needs to use them. And this is where I am with this, because I'm tired of hearing about excuses. This is why I told y'all, I said, I'm not turning over tables this year. I'm not tearing up stuff, raising hell, doing 40-hour streams. I'm not doing it this year, because this is year 6. And this is the final year for me with this manager, because this manager's had enough time to adjust. And now he's got a robust squad. He's got a robust squad of players to look at. I think we're probably too deep at almost every position. So there's no excuse here. There's no excuse. People was Marino, he's up top. He can score goals. Put him up there. Put Ethan in there. Put Max up there. We've got players. So this whole thing about we don't have anything, or we're short, or we're unlucky. That's hogwash. That's hogwash for me. I'm not hearing it. So when it happened, I just went. I said, "Oh well, that's another one. He's down. Next man up." Shane, is that not what I told you Sunday? Next man up. Let's go. Line them up. Let's go. We're only 10 games into the season, 11, 12 games into the season. We got there's a lot more meat on the bone.
Mhm.
And we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out here starting this weekend. Kenny, Shane, Jez, starting this weekend. We've been warning y'all about November. Well, it's right here. Here it is. How quick a month passes away, Kenny? That we set that last month, and now we're here on the 20th. We said, "Hey man, is anybody looking at the end of November?" And then people are going on, and I'm gonna get ready to turn it loose here. People are going on here about this Premier League table. I want to put a word of caution in the air right now, under the sound of my voice. Look at the Champions League table and look at the teams under us. We can't afford to lose that either, because everybody's within a game or two of touching us. So now we're here. The managers got to go manage. 15.6 million. I expect them to solve problems. That's what I expect to see this year.
True. Every word you said is fact. Big up to Mama as well. Mama, hope you're well. Haven't seen you for a long while. Just a quick question before I come to Shano. Kenny, question for you, mate. Thank you for the super chat, Scott. Question for Kenny. Lennox Lewis versus Ali. Who wins? There you go.
That's a good question, because both of them are great champions and great fighters. You know, on reputation, you have to say Muhammad Ali, because there's a speed of hand and foot, and he punches from angles that Lennox Lewis won't see. And I always say that cruiserweights tend to become top heavyweights, because their power is transferable. But one thing they do have is the fitness, and they're lighter. Because they're lighter, they can move around a lot quicker, and they punch accurately, so they wear them down. So Lennox Lewis, his heaviest was about 18 stone at times, sometimes 8.5, whilst Ali, his heaviest was only 15 stone. And what we've seen with heavyweight boxing is that the old adage, a good big one will beat a small one, actually doesn't exist at all, because Usyk proved that. In terms of the situation with fighting Tyson Fury, Joshua, Dubois, and David Haye when he came up to heavyweight. He was a good heavyweight as well, although he fought Klitschko. But yeah, Ali all day for me.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember watching Muhammad Ali as a kid. Great boxer. Not that I know anything about boxing, but Shane, we've touched on this, right, on your stream about the injuries, right? But we've got the cover. Yeah, there seems to be this massive meltdown about it. But look, we're coming into November now. I mean, this morning out there where I live, it was -1. It's getting colder. That's where muscle injuries can impact on a player in a game, because the temperatures are dropping. If you're not fully warmed up, and you're not really running at your true pace, then all of a sudden you got a sprint, you pull a muscle. Now, we're going to touch on it in a bit, mate, right? We've got a difficult period coming up, and we're going to talk a bit as well. We've got the North London Derby coming up. This is a crucial time. Yeah. Are you panicking, Shano, about the fact we've lost Gabriel now, possibly 1, possibly 2 months?
Panicking, no, because I knew it was coming. So when you're prepared for something, it's not as bad. And you said that there's been a massive meltdown about this. There's a reason there's been a massive meltdown for this injury and not all the other ones, because this one happened in a Brazil kit. And then they can fire off about injuries and make out that it's not Arteta's fault. That's why they've all jumped on it. That's why Semiu recorded his video from the stadium. He couldn't wait to get home to point out that this happened on Brazil duty and not on Arsenal duty. This is a culmination of this man being flogged. I sat there and I watched Canton on his stream yesterday. Well, I didn't sit there live. Someone said, go have a look at this. And he blamed everything but Arteta. And he specifically pointed out that this is not the manager. And he had all his little minions in the chat putting in, oh, you know, my car wouldn't start today. Do I blame Arteta? Right? That was the whole gimmick that they were doing. He said that Gabriel has been, I think it was properly rotated all season, or sufficiently rotated this season. A man that has played every single game. He played 1.5 games in pre-season. And he has played every single game this season. He said he got rotated off in 2 Champions League games. No, he got injured, mate. He came off injured, right? He said, oh, he got rotated in the Carabao Cup. Did we need him to travel to Port Vale, to warm up, to come on for half an hour, to warm down? Did we need him to play against Brighton? Did we need him to play against Prague, a team that hasn't won in the Champions League in 18 years? The excuses that are coming out are beyond a joke at this point. This is a player that was coming back from a 6-month injury, who had 1.5 games in pre-season and then is made to play every single game. To go then blaming Ancelotti because a player went there in the red. If anything, he took more care than Arteta. They had a plan to take him off early because they were trying to manage his minutes. Tuchel managed Saka's minutes. He rested him for 1 game, brought him off the bench. He took Royce off after 65 minutes. Why do these international managers have to look after our players? Why is it their job to do what Arteta should be doing? I've said this before. If Arteta had have left Royce at home against Prague, not brought him on in the League Cup, played him for 80 minutes in the league, he would then have a bit of a bit of a leg to stand on if he was to ring Tuchel and say, look, you're already qualified. Is there any chance you can just wrap him in cotton wool and only give him a certain amount? Yeah, sure, mate. But if he's played him every single minute, he has no right to call an international manager and say, would you do what I haven't done, please? Because he had the squad. And the thing is, and Maddie touched on it, there's 2 pluses to rotate. Number 1, you rest your players, your first team players. And number 2, your so-called second string get minutes. So when they come in, when the player does get injured, they're used to the tactics. They're used to the team. Nketiah has played, 80 minutes at centre-back for us? And is he going to come in now? Also, it's absolutely no coincidence that Calafiori's suddenly fit now. No coincidence whatsoever that he's suddenly fit, because he's going to get pumped full of painkillers and he's going to get made to play. This has happened all through, and I'm so tired of the excuses being made to have these lads sitting there with smug smiles on their faces saying the one thing that you cannot blame is Mikel Arteta. Literally their words. That is the one person you cannot blame here. And I'm so tired of it. I have heard that Ancelotti played Gabriel because he wanted to punish Arsenal for knocking Real Madrid out of the Champions League. I've heard it's down to the betting companies. I've heard Semi say, oh, well, you can blame the big wigs in FIFA for this. It's their fault. Really is. So we're only our players. Where do these people get off thinking that we're the exception that proves the rule? Why is it that our players shouldn't play international football? What right do we have to stop someone playing for the country? And people need to remember that these players aren't English, or, you know, it's a lot of things that the people think that the English players don't want to play for their country. That's not true. But when you go down into the continent and you go over to South America, that's their dream, is to play for their country. So you cannot stop them playing for the country. People saying, oh, well, what about Brazil? Why did they play him? What about Gabriel? He should have said something. I'm sorry, but he didn't play with an injury. He was just due an injury. And Maddie said it before. This injury would have happened. If it hadn't happened then, it would have happened in the North London derby. It would have happened against Chelsea or Bayern or someone. It was coming, because you cannot play these guys. And I'll finish on this because I've said it a couple of times before. These guys that think that Arteta, you know, what he's doing is fine. We burn out every season. Pep doesn't. It's simply down to rotation. Because what we do is like trying to sprint a marathon. That's what we do. We try and sprint from the start of a marathon, and it cannot work. You will collapse halfway through. You have to pace yourself, and we don't do it. So I've at this point now, I've just had it. I'm like Maddie. I'm just sitting back now and just going, look, just let it unfold, because at the end of this season, I win. Regardless, I win. Either he somehow gets over the line in the league or the Champions League, or he's sacked. So I win at the end of the season either way. So I've just had it now. I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of the way all these big channels came out as quick as they could to put a spotlight on the fact that he played for Brazil. And you wait till Arteta's press conference. He will say Brazil and international 6 or 7 times. You'll get that in Brazil, away on international duty. Brazil, you keep saying it so it sticks in people's minds that it wasn't his fault. Yeah, but I've had it now. This was coming a long time ago. And now we've got players coming in that are cold and they'll go down and the others will be rushed back. And it's just going to, by Christmas, we are going to be down to the bare bones again. And it's just a madness, absolute madness.
Jess, can you share my screen right quick, brother? If you don't
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, sure.
Look at this right here. This is all competition so far this year. Look at how many minutes Mega Life should play. 1,356 minutes. Just look at these. Just look at right here. Of course, he's in goalkeeper. Declan Rice. See, we've been saying Declan Rice is next. Declan Rice. Look at this. 1,000
madness.
200. Just look at this. Look at the numbers under. Look at everybody. Timber, 1180. Saliba, 1084. Yokers, oh, he's already down. He was already on the 1,000 already. He's down already. Soccer, he's creeping up there. Eze's creeping up there. What do you notice here when you go down the table? Look at the bench. Jazz, to prove your point, look at the bench. Look at this. He plays the same players over and over and over and over and over. So it's not a stretch to see why so many of our starters end up falling. Oh, the golden child, Zubamindi, 1189, he's up there.
Yeah.
Skelly's there. We've got Ethan there.
Yeah.
You know, we've got players there that can play. Calafiore, he's already injury prone, and he's already approaching the danger zone already. And gentlemen, we're only 15, 17, 18 games into the season. Well, across all comps. And look at this. Get ready. All I can say is get ready. Do not be surprised. Do not be surprised. Everybody sat here over the summer. Gentlemen, we was on panels with them. We either was on panels with them or we in some shape, form, or fashion, we was around. They kept saying everything's sorted out, sensible signings. We've got depth, squad depth. He doesn't trust the squad depth. He uses the same players regardless of the fact. It doesn't matter.
But we've got the best. Oh, fuck off. Who's that?
Stop doing this, calling you, man.
We've got the best squad out there, mate. We've got the best squad in Europe. Kenny, it's. Sorry, I was going to say, Gabriel did start against Port Vale, mate, unnecessarily for me. But the thing is, Kenny, right?
Well, he came off the bench. In that game.
Sorry, yeah, he came off the bench. But
Saliba played the full 90. Sorry,
he didn't need to be there. But that's another story for another day. It's a waste of time. Kenny, we're coming into a critical period now. To me, it's going to be a very hard task, and we're going to start this in a minute. But why does he not start the bench? Why didn't he use them? And on that, I'll be back in a second, guys. I'll be back in a second.
Well, yes, that's self. I think what it is that it's about tactics and it's about the system, and then best players available. There's a spine at Arsenal who, despite the fact everyone talks about new signings, the spine hasn't changed. Goalkeeper, the fullbacks. Not so much fullbacks, the right back, the centre halves, Declan Rice midfield, Saka, Odegaard as well. That's more than half the team. Hence the fact that you by all means start the bench, but the manager, just like last season, his first thought is tactically the way I want to play. Only this personnel can play, and barring an injury where they basically can't run or they can't walk, that's my team, and preferably in every game. People look at the Carling Cup, and maybe he's made a few like I said, changes in the Carling Cup, but the Champions League, he's not going to make the changes. The Premier League, he won't make the changes as well because there is Premier competitions that he needs to win.
But sorry, Kenny, but Prague though, he has to make changes against Prague, doesn't he? He has to.
He has, but he won't because again, you look at the makeup of the team. Yeah, we won. Prague is a winnable game, and a game we should be winning. But our manager's mindset is that every game is important. Every game, is going to contribute to us winning either the Champions League or the league. That's why he won't change things. He doesn't believe that the understudies tactically are up to scratch. We saw a lot of that last season. We thought with the signs we made, in defence and midfield, that kind of lack of trust will be eradicated, but it hasn't. All we've seen this season is that there's players who've come to us who are first-team players, which means there's not much of a gap between our starters and their understudies, but tactically it's night and day still, and that's therein lies the problem.
But on that, Kenny, sorry to cut across you again, but how can they get used to the tactics if they never play?
Well, it's about the manager, isn't it?
It all goes back to him, though. I mean, this is my.
He has to let go, but he won't let go because simple reason is that he hasn't won a league yet. He hasn't won a trophy. Who knows, if we start winning trophies on a regular basis, he might let go. But at this moment of time, the pressure under him to win matches, he's not going to risk it. He's not going to risk playing, not playing Gabriel. He's not going to risk playing Declan Rice. It's all about results for him. The injury situation is the last thing in his mind. As long as the club doctors and the physio says they're okay, that's all he wants to hear. He ain't going to listen to the fact that they're in a red zone. There's no such thing as red zones with him. There was red zones with Wenger. We all know about them. But with this guy, no, there's not red zones. It's all about tactics and winning yesterday. So we're gonna have to be, like I said, that mercy, the tyranny of the fixture list. But the biggest problem is, at the end of the day, is Arteta's part of the problem because he doesn't trust his team's part tactically. But the biggest problem is greed, Premiership greed. And football fans' lust for wall-to-wall football, and players' lust for money. I've been saying it for many, many moons. We play too much football, and now the Champions League we're playing wall-to-wall football, but there's no break. Look at international. You wait till March when it comes to international games. A lot of these players now are going to be playing playoffs. Some of them wouldn't dare not miss an international get together because they're worried about not being selected for their clubs. So we're in a situation right now where we just have to pray that we just get through these games because at the end of the day, this is the fixture list to a T. More games, it's up to the manager. But I'm telling you now, Shane, and Matty and Jez, until we win something big, the manager will not lessen the reins. He'll keep on running our plays at the ground. I promise you that's.
But the thing is, though, sorry, I'll be really quick. To win the league and the Champions League, you have to rotate. That's you can't win it if you don't. Because your players will drop.
He don't believe in it because what's happened is that he's been enabled in that view by our fans because according to our fans, we didn't win in 22-23 because of Rob Holding. Because Saliba got injured, so he's a sponge when it comes to hearing things he wants to hear. The more he hears things like that, the more we're going to run plays at the ground.
I mean, it's 15.6 million a year, and he hasn't learned the basics. It's terrifying.
That's the thing. They're more than capable of doing the job, but they're only going to play and get a run of games if it's injuries.
This is
the exception. And Calafiori the exception in the fact that they have made their defence stronger, have made their defence unbreachable, and they have a bit more to their game than Miles Lewis-Skelly and Benjamin White. They're an exception, but the norm is that spine will play every game.
On that note, I've just got to do this super chat and. Thank you, Stephen, mate. Good evening, Jez, Shane, Kenny, and Matty. I'm sorry, but Arteta has failed. I've had enough now. This man needs to leave. Guys, I'm really sorry about this. I've got a family emergency. My sister just
okay, brother.
got to go. family thing. I'm sorry about that. I had a lot of things I wanted to talk about, but I've got to go and do this. Lawrence, mate, yeah, it's no worries, mate. We'll get you on next week for the North London Derby review. I do apologise, everybody, but I have to go.
No problem, Jez. No problem.
No problem. Just keep us posted. I hope everything's all right, mate.
Yes, sorry about it, mate. My sister turned up, knocking on the door.
Family comes first.
Yep.
Stephen says Shane Mikel Arteta couldn't rotate a yo-yo, let alone a squad. We should never hire a novice who has never managed a football club before. Joker. Absolutely. That's absolutely. I'm really sorry about this, guys.
No problem.
Really want to talk about I really want to talk about the fixtures coming up because I think it's very important. But I really must go. I'm really sorry.
Next week we do a review and a preview for Bayern Munich.
Matty, thank you for joining. Sorry, I've got to bounce.
No biggie.
Chat, I'm really sorry, I've got to go, but it's important. So I do apologise. I'll catch you, boys. Catch you all later.
Problem, mate.
See you later, guys.
See you, mate.
Take care.
Take it. All right, guys. It's next week. We've got a North London derby to review.
We still live.
We're still live.
Yeah.
I'll text him.
Yeah, text him.
All right.
I'll call him.
We'll just stay on here until we come.
Well, we live, so I guess we got to be.